We now speak to Commodore J. Tarriela, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea. Good evening to you, Commodore. Welcome to the big story.
Hello, Ms. Seth. Good evening. Pleasant evening to everyone as well.
Do you think you may have crossed the line at this point?
I don't think so, Ms. Seth. The mere fact that I did this presentation to a group of students, whether it's a satirical caricature of their national leader or whatever, there's no reason for me to apologize. The Chinese government has been harassing the Filipino fishermen, violating international law, water cannoning Philippine Coast Guard vessels, making it difficult for us to do the resupply mission. I think what they have been doing in the West Philippine Sea is even worse than the caricature that is circulating. It's because they're making a big issue out of it.
How about the dare of the Chinese embassy to you to post the video of your talk and their claim that you lied about what you said?
Mrs. First of all, I didn't really I didn't really think that the Chinese government has been actively, following my post in social media and even watching my campus caravan lectures to the students to make them aware of the West Philippine Sea. It's a very small issue whether I mention Xi Jinping, relating to Xi Jinping. That's not the point here. The main concern here is that the Chinese government remains to violate international law, right? And the main concern here is that why would they even interfere with our domestic concern? They are violating the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. They cannot ask our government to discipline or explain those kind of things that we're doing because of freedom of expression.
Commodore, you also said and you believe that the PCG's transparency efforts are wearing China down because they're now starting to become more vocal and aggressive when it comes to their responses. Do you think there's a direct correlation between the two?
I think the direct correlation between the noise that the Chinese embassy is doing in the social media is that it is all because of the arrival of the new Chinese ambassador. For so many years since we started the transparency effort, even if I would say that we have become more effective, 94% of the Filipino people supported the transparency effort. More of the states in the international community that share liberal values, the rules-based order, also support our position. But it doesn't really mean that it's all because of that. I think the most critical thing that happened in the past days is that the new ambassador of the Chinese embassy arrived, and he believes probably that responding to the transparency effort is to take advantage of the social media platforms and counter all of those factual narratives that we're saying by misinformation, by deliberate lies and propaganda, so that it will confuse the domestic audience that we have here in our country.
Right, but Commodore, to those detractors online who keep saying that you might have put the president in a tight spot, what would you have to say to them?
Well, those are pro-China lines, and those detractors who have been saying that, these are the same people who have been supportive of the pro-China line. I consider them trolls who always look after the interests of the People's Republic of China and not the Filipino people.
The images you used in your presentation were culled from social media, or were they
Generated,
made by yourself or your staff?
Well, I just used those images to explain how the Chinese government remains to be bullied and why they remain to be bullied. There's no deliberate intention to mock anybody. It is only a figurative interpretation of the decision of President Xi Jinping to destroy the Filipino spirit of pushing for transparency.
And while we have you on the show, Commodore, tell us what is the current situation out in the West Philippine Sea / South China Sea? Have things or tensions abated a bit, or is it still status quo, water cannoning, etc.?
Well, we have already released our annual report on the part of the Philippine Coast Guard as to how we monitored and documented the illegal presence of the People's Republic of China. We believe that the number of the Chinese Coast Guard vessels, comparing with those vessels that were deployed in the previous year, in 2024, we believe that there is a significant uptick. There is an increase of the Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia. That's one. The second thing that we observed is that before, the Chinese Coast Guard are pretty much concentrated in Bajo de Masinloc and its near vicinity. But in 2025, we saw Chinese Coast Guard trying to normalize their illegal presence and illegal patrol off the coast of Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, and Mindoro. As a matter of fact, the closest distance of the Chinese Coast Guard is at 25 nautical miles. In the previous year, the Chinese Coast Guard can only be found in Bajo de Masinloc. And third, we also noted that there is a very large number of Chinese research vessels that also pass through and conduct illegal marine scientific research in our exclusive economic zone, not just in the West Philippine Sea, but even on our eastern seaboard.
And do you think, Commodore, of course we do, you already mentioned it, we have a new Chinese ambassador to replace Huang Xilian. We have Ching Chuan right now, supposedly is going to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more assertive. What is going to be our response to that maybe new angle from the Chinese embassy here in Manila?
Well, for me, the noisier they get, the less credibility that they're going to have. There's no amount of lies and disinformation that you can throw at in the social media in countering the factual narrative.
And this latest brouhaha over your talk, would you say this is really meant to digress from the main issue that's confronting us right now?
Yes, Ms. Tess, I think this kind of noise that the Chinese embassy is doing for over a week already, lambasting our lawmakers, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Congressman Laila De Lima, Congressman Shell Jokno, the spokesperson of NMC, the spokesperson of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and myself. There's a deliberate attempt to discredit our transparency efforts and also to make the Filipino people doubt our own position when it comes to the issue of the West Philippines.
And Commodore, since this is a diplomatic protest on the end of the Chinese embassy, have you spoken already to anyone from the Foreign Affairs Department, and do they support your stance that you will not be apologizing for this incident?
Well, first of all, the Department of Foreign Affairs is not part of my chain of command. I report to the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard.
So, will the DFA? Do you believe that the DFA should step in this matter, since it involves diplomatic relations?
Well, I cannot speak for the Department of Foreign Affairs, but as far as the Philippine Coast Guard is concerned, we're still going to continue our transparency efforts and exposing the Chinese illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive actions in the West Philippines.
You were saying that, the battle is moving towards social media. And, well, we're outnumbered by the trolls that, is said to be employed by the other side. How do we counter? How do we counter this, Commodore?
Ms. Tess, this question was also asked to our national security advisor a few years back when we were in Pag-asa Island. He responded to such questions very plainly and very deliberate. He said our strategy will remain to be the same despite of the increasing number of pro-China trolls.